Welcome to Two Balls and a Mic. Today we have Two Balls and a Comic coming back with a recurring guest. First time, two-time Two Balls and a Comic guest. He's going to go ahead and start with his comedy tour here in San Diego this upcoming Thursday. You know him as a comedian, pitmaster, a water polo coach maybe, Miami-born, LA-raised, host of the Meet Dave podcast and co-host of the Tony Acevedo podcast. I might have just read his Instagram bio, but it gets the job done. Please welcome back Mr. Dave Williamson.
You nailed it, dude. I was just thinking, I go, it's like I wrote that bio. Apparently I did.
Perfect, man. But how are you, bro? Like it's been a while. No, trust me, I'll fix it on the back end. I see what you're removing the camera. I got you.
I was trying to get cute there and help you with the production.
Oh, definitely, because we definitely help. I mean, we upgraded since last time you were here. Just the graphics, we outsourced to different parts of the country. There we go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, you guys are moving up, man. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, man. I mean,
little by little, man.
Little by little, slowly. Here we're going. Last time we talked, it was around November, December. I know there was turkeys and I believe 3 turkeys going in and what's called a brisket. So I don't know. You tell me what holiday that was and how did that go? Let's start there.
2 out of 3 of the turkeys were fantastic. I had a rare debacle on the 3rd turkey, and it was actually, you know what? I actually appreciated being humbled a little bit. And normally it wouldn't be that big of a deal. I'm usually like when other people hit me up and ask me for barbecue advice, I always tell them like, just go for it. You can't screw anything up totally. But the one time you can is when you're cooking for somebody else on Thanksgiving. And that's what I was doing.
Oh man.
So what was the backup plan? Was there a backup plan? Was that just that bird went to waste?
Basically what happened was, I was cooking. I wanted to buy it was like a 25-pound turkey straight from this farm. And it was a 2-bird minimum. So I had to get 2 of them. And so my buddy said, hey, man, I'll buy one of those from you. And I just told him, I go, well, look, man, I've never done a bird this big and the timing's all wonky. So I don't really want to like screw up your Thanksgiving. And he was like, nah, man, I'm frying a turkey. He's going, I just want to taste your smoked turkey. So it's like an extra turkey. So luckily they had a primary turkey and this was going to be secondary. And it was totally edible and fine. It's just what happened was, when I was gonna eat, and then the other guy was gonna eat that was picking up a turkey earlier in the day, and then he wants turkey later. So I was next door eating my Thanksgiving dinner, and of course that's when my smoker decided to catch fire and have a big flare up. So I didn't catch it right away. It took me like 30 minutes to catch it. So that turkey got hit with soot. So I was able to salvage it, and I thought it was toast at first. But you still got that like dirty smoke taste that seeps into it, so it was edible, it was fine, but it wasn't perfect like I would like it to be. But it was his secondary turkey, so not the end of the world.
I mean, and again, we'll get into a little bit more barbecue because I have questions like going back and listening onto the first podcast, like now going a little bit more into deep dive into your I don't even know, obsession, your mastery of just the barbecue world. It's just opened up so many questions.
It's an addiction.
Yeah, and my entry level drug was buying a cast iron skillet and just starting with steak. And just fucking up a bunch of steak for once. But like even then, it was still, like I said, edible. And I think that's the gateway drug to barbecuing.
Is that smoker still in your front porch?
Oh, it's a fucking.
Yeah, I still have that smoker. I got a new one now.
Nice.
I had the small Rectech that we would take in the tour bus with us. Right. And then I had the big 900-pound Assassin gravity fed smoker. But now I have a large 700 Rectech Bull pellet smoker. That's a much larger pellet smoker next to the Assassin. So my collection's growing, and I have a Santa Maria grill out there next to it too. My front yard kitchen is growing. That's for sure.
We're all
so if you like cooking steaks in the cast iron, and you're looking to like take the next baby step, you got to get a sous vide precision cooker.
Yo, that's one of my favorite.
That's the best way to cook yeah.
There's this guy on YouTube, just this guy, I think it's called like sous vide everything, and he literally just does everything that style put in the bag and just perfect steak all the time. He goes wild and does like, I marinated this steak for 1 year and then we're gonna try it. And it's just the worst thing ever. But it's fantastic. I mean, speaking of barbecue, right? Let's start here, right? You have here upcoming this Thursday at 7 p.m. over at Cali Country BBQ. It's presented by Bear Mountain Barbecue America. Meet Dave. You're going on tour again, Dave. Like, isn't that exciting? Like, man,
dude, I'm so excited. I'm fully vaxxed and ready to tour, man.
Hell yeah.
So what happened was with this tour, you know, I knew I have some stuff in August, and when I found out that thanks to coaching water polo, I was going to be one of the first people eligible to get the vaccine. I was like, oh man, I got to figure out what I'm going to do like May, June, July. So I was talking to someone on the podcast, on my podcast, Meet Dave, talking to a barbecue owner in Memphis. And he's like, dude, you got to come to the Memphis in May festival. He's like, it's the best. You're going to have a blast because you're going to know so many people here. And so I was like, man, I wonder if I could put a few shows around it to justify going. And he was like, you could do a show at my barbecue restaurant. And I'm like, well, perfect. That's one. And then I hit up some other guys who have barbecue restaurants in nearby cities. And they were like, yeah, let's do it. And so then I mentioned it on my podcast and on Instagram, and then everyone started hitting me up like, dude, come to this town, come to that town. So next thing I know, I had a 2-month tour put together, and I'm like, I don't even know if I could pull this off. What am I going to do? Drive my, 10-year-old Jeep Wrangler across the country? Because I can't fly up for all these cities. And then the Bear Mountain barbecue woods, they make the pellets that go into my pellet smoker. Really awesome company. They've been supportive of some projects I've done in the past. So I had a call set up with them anyways about something, and I brought it up, and they go, that sounds awesome. We want to know how we can support. So we figured out a way that with their support, I could say yes to all these shows, and it just happened. It was just like manifested. So now I bought a travel trailer. I got 2 recent film graduates that want to go with me and film the whole thing. And I'm going all the way to basically Boston and back.
Yeah, we got it up here for the YouTube.
First show is going to be in San Diego this Thursday. The chef there, Sean Walchef's a really interesting dude, doing a lot of cool things in the San Diego area with media around the barbecue industry, and with his brick and mortar restaurant, and with ghost kitchens. And the format of the show is I'm going to do a headline set, which is typically between 45 minutes and an hour. And then we're going to do a 20 to 30 minute Q&A with the local, either barbecue shop owner or pitmaster. So that'll be Sean down there. And I'm really excited about that, because it'll be like a live version of my podcast where the audience members can ask questions, just like you were asking me, about the sous vide and the cast iron and all that stuff. And they could ask questions about, his restaurant, or me about cooking on tour, whatever. I just think we're gonna get some great question and answer and back and forths.
That's wonderful. I did catch that podcast he had with on Cali BBQ, I believe, on YouTube or something like that. If you're from San Diego, you know who Cali Comfort BBQ is. Like, you just know what it is. But yeah, I did see that, and really interesting stuff. Just bringing that local business back up and ways to promote and get that word out. And that's what it's all about, right? Like, that's part of the tour, because that's essentially that's what you're doing, is going around and promoting these local businesses.
I'm getting hungry.
I mean, that's the hope, man. That's why I wanted to start my podcast to start with, because I wanted to, pitmasters are kind of like my heroes. Like, I don't get very starstruck in the comedy world. Like, obviously there's guys I respect and guys that I'm fans of, but I still just don't get starstruck, but pitmasters, I just have so much respect for what they do and what it takes to run a barbecue restaurant of all restaurants, because of the logistics involved with coming out with such a consistently great product on something that takes 12 hours to cook, So I just want to lift these guys up, and that's my podcast is all about getting to know them and having them get to know me. And this is just a live version of that, man. And the fact that I can help them have something to look forward to, and either one, bring their patrons back now that things are starting to open up, or two, a lot of them are setting it up as a show, basically say thank you to their patrons for helping them get through the past year, and I didn't want to discourage any restaurant, some of them can only hold 30 people right now. So I didn't want to say, no, I can't do a show there, because, ticket sales on 30 isn't enough for me. And years ago, you would have never thought about doing a show on the road that's that small. I just wanted to say yes to all of it. If it's 30 fun people and we can get people there, we could talk barbecue, we could tell some jokes. I want to say yes. So that's where the sponsorship from Bear Mountain came in. And I'm also doing a Kickstarter for people to help offset some of those costs by trying to win cool prizes. So like RecTech gave me a smoker I'm going to raffle off, and a couple other companies gave me some really cool swag. So I'm going to launch that in the next few days too. Sorry, I'm just so excited. I'm rambling about all this.
I mean, that's great, man.
That's what this whole thing's about, man. Promoting your stuff, man.
Yeah, 100%. Bring it a little bit back to sports, though. It's still barbecue, right? Just the question, like, where do you consider yourself in the barbecue totem pole, right? Like, obviously, there's like just god tier, like pit masters, right? And so, to me, you're just way above there, right? Just because I would be a beginner. So, how do you see yourself? Where are you on that totem pole of, like, you know, just legendary? Yeah.
I mean, I'm very careful never to label myself an expert. One, I haven't been doing it long enough. But two, I just have so much respect for what guys who have totally dedicated their lives to doing this. I would say that I'm an amateur who happens to be very talented at it, right? It's just like there's comics who, like, I know they're green, they're only a few years in, but I could watch them and be like, oh man, that guy, you know, he's going about it the right way, and he's willing to learn, and he also has some natural ability, you know. I feel like that's where I'm at with barbecue, because I do it just out of a pure passion and love for it. I'm not trying to open a restaurant. Who knows if that's in the cards one day, but you know, I like being the guy that empowers, you know, dudes who are nervous to try it out, you know, people who are you know, on the fence about buying their first smoker, or like, man, I don't know if I should buy a $60 brisket, I might screw it up. I'm gonna be the guy who's like, do it, man, go for it. You can only screw it up so much. Here's some things I learned, do it, you know. So, you know, I'm definitely way below all those barbecue legends you were talking about, but I do think I could, you know, crush it if I had to feed you one meal and you gave me an opportunity to feed you.
Well, I'm always willing to be fed. Like
Clearly,
like no,
Thursday, guys.
I'm down for that. Like, I've literally, like, I've been so close to just hitting you up and being like, I will pay whatever it takes. I'll drive up to San Diego. I'll pay for the cost. I'll feed your family with it. But like, I just need to taste your cooking. It just looks.
We'll make it happen, man. We'll make it happen.
Love it.
So we want to hear that story with the whole cooking for Warren Sapp.
Bringing your barbecue talents to that, like that brought you to that, right? Like, it's so crazy how barbecue made that happen in a sense.
Dude, absolutely. And that's exactly what we're talking about, man. So Warren Sapp, first of all, I grew up a big fan because I grew up in Miami, you know. He was he was at the University of Miami, huge star, collegiate star there. You know, I grew up with season tickets watching him play on Saturdays. So he was coming out to LA on Super Bowl week to do a live stream with Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura. And I mentioned to Bert, I go, Bert, you guys want me to cook you some barbecue for your Super Bowl live stream? I go, I'm going to be in town. I don't have anything going on. I'd be happy to do it. It'd be fun. And Bert's like, that's a great idea. And him and Tom were excited because I know Tom loves my barbecue too, you know? So I go, all right, cool, man. I got you. I'm going to cook some good stuff, right? So I placed the order with my meat man, my dealer here in LA. And on Thursday, all this barbecue showed up at my house, and I put it in my fridge. I took a picture of it and I put it on my Instagram stories, and I tagged Bert and Tom, and then I almost didn't tag Warren in it because I was like, I don't want to be that guy who's like looking for attention or anything. But I'm like, oh, whatever, man. I tagged Warren in it. It's like, getting ready for Sunday, guys. And I don't even, to this day, I don't even know if like Warren was aware of like, you know, that I was going to be cooking for them on Sunday or who I was. But regardless, that night I'm watching TV with my wife, and my phone lights up, and Warren Sapp followed me and messaged me. And he wrote, hey man, I want to come over to your house and grill tomorrow. And I'm like, do you even know who I am? Right. So I thought he was kidding. I go, yeah, man, anytime. Cane's legends are always welcome at my house. Right. And he goes, what's your address? And I go, oh shit, he's for real. So I was like, yeah, man, here's my address. All right, cool. I'm going fishing with Tom and Bert, and then we get done at 1. I'll come over to your house after. I'm like, all right, that's cool. Because I was going to be cooking for another event anyways. So I was like, all right, well, I'll throw some extra stuff out there, you know. So sure enough, 1 o'clock, man, I get a message and Warren's like, I'm on my way over. And then Bert's like, hey, I'm going to try to get Warren to come over to your house. And I go, no, Warren's on his way, man. Like he's coming with or without
Oh
you.
man.
So they showed up with the fish they caught that day, but I had already thrown a tomahawk steak on and some beef ribs and some tri-tip. And so we just sat in the front yard and drank some beers. And I don't know if you guys, so this, I don't know if this is the video or not. Oh no, it's a little later. So I told them I had a sample of this rub that I want to start selling. So I was like, hey man, you guys are the official taste testers. I go, I think this is the final version that I'm gonna approve for my rub. I go, so you guys got to tell me. And it was so funny because they all took a bite of the beef rib, and then nobody who was watching the Instagram stories had the context, but they were all going, yeah, you need to sell this. You need to sell this shit. This needs to go for sale, right? And everyone on Instagram thought they were talking about selling my barbecue, but they were talking about put your rub up for sale.
Nice.
So now I got my rub coming out, man. I get the first shipment comes Wednesday, and I've already got pre-orders that are people have been putting on my website at davewilliamsoncomedy.com. So I got to mail out a bunch of rubs before I leave town.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Like I can tell you, man, like the world of barbecue is just it's so crazy. Like again, I was listening to the last podcast you had this with my friends over at Cali Barbecue, where he brought up Warren G. I don't know what you and Warren's and your barbecue is just just a great mix. Like I don't know if you want to just like quickly just you connected with Warren G through barbecue.
Well, so Warren G, I'm a huge fan from when I was a kid, and I was in high school when his album hit, and so there's a lot of nostalgia in Warren G, So I follow him on Instagram, and he's a huge barbecue dude. He's got his own catering company called Sniffin' Griffins and his own rub lines and stuff like that. So I was like, dude, when I started my barbecue podcast, I'm like, I gotta try to get Warren G on, and I'm pretty good at networking in and working the right angles and stuff. But could just never make it happen. I could never get a hold of the right person to try to see if we can make it happen. So then out of the blue, at the beginning of the pandemic, he was doing something on his social media where he was having a stay-at-home cook-off, right? Where people were cooking and doing his Instagram live with him. And so I applied to it. I sent a picture of some of my barbecue, wrote a little, write-up. And so they messaged me. They go, hey, man, do you want to be on Warren G's contest? And I go, yeah. So I cooked pork grenades, which is avocado with Havarti cheese and pulled pork shoved inside it, wrapped in bacon on the smoker. And I was like, all right, this is how I'm gonna knock Warren G's socks off, because everyone else is just gonna do straight up ribs, straight up, pulled pork. I'm doing something with a little flair and color and Cali to it,
Yeah.
So I had a really cool Instagram live with Warren G. And so then I asked the producers after, I go, do you guys mind if I rip that audio and put it up as an episode of my podcast? They were like, yeah, go for it. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess I technically got Warren G on my podcast finally. I've been trying for a long time.
That's the way it works, man. It's great.
I mean, that's exactly how I had like Bert's one clip after you guys had that tuna jerky.
Yes.
Like he was just like, oh, like first of all, he used Jose, my like official legal name. Like
oh yeah.
And I was like, it works. But no, like it's crazy how even just smoke products bring the world together. I don't think we've talked to you since that, right? How was that? Fish. We've talked to Scuba Steve Fury about it, and he was like blown away with it. So,
yeah. Oh yeah, I think I talked to you after, didn't I? It was awesome. It was incredible. And I'm trying to open my horizons a little bit, because I've done smoked salmon a lot, but not a lot of other fish. And so having that down there made me realize, like, man, I gotta really dive into more fish. So there's a little fish market by my house now. I've been messing with fish a lot more often. And by the way, when those guys came to my house and they brought their fish, we ended up not cooking their fish that day, and then they just left it in my cooler. So what I did was, when I cooked all that food and brought it to them on Super Bowl Sunday, I smoked the fish and then made a smoked fish dip recipe out of it. So I showed them and I go, hey man, here's the fish you guys caught in a fish dip for Super Bowl Sunday. That was kind of a cool little personal touch.
That's crazy too. And you got to watch Super Bowl with legendary Hall of Famer Warren Sapp watching his Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a Super Bowl, and it must have been just the bee's knees, man. Like what
Pretty
more
cool,
do you
man.
want? What more do you want, like, for a Super Bowl to hang like that? So, I mean, obviously, a little bit of football talk going into this year. Last year, we talked a little bit how we all loved Coach Flores and what he was doing down there. I mean, we're still Team Flores, right?
Yeah, man. I think that I would have loved to have gotten a running back earlier in this draft. But the nice thing about what's happening with the Dolphins right now is that I don't have to freak out too much. You just trust what they're doing. They've done enough right things in the past few years to have that credibility. And as a Dolphins fan, that is a refreshing feeling I haven't had in like 20 years. So I'm not freaking out. I'm like, hey, I think it was a good draft. I like the Waddle pick.
Yeah.
I like that we got Phillips at the end of the first draft of the first round. I think that that guy could be a monster, and he's worth the injury risk that comes with him. So all around, man, I like that we got O-line help. Just that tight end over a running back was a little iffy to me, but I just have to trust that they know what they're doing.
Do you feel like that trade you guys made before the draft, like, was it worth it? Because you guys could have had Kyle Pitts on the third pick.
Yeah, trading back. I mean, don't get me wrong. It'd be really nice to have Pitts, but it's, we got Waddle, who's supposedly going to be a game breaker, and plus a guy who's got an opportunity to be a generational edge rusher, or a real elite one anyways. So it's 2-1. Gesicki's not a bad tight end at all. So is whatever Pitts was going to elevate over Gesicki more value than having Gesicki, Waddle, and Phillips on defense? I mean, I don't know.
And it was shaky too, because I mean, Kyle Van Noy was just a monster with you guys and was a leader, and
Yeah.
he ends up not being on the roster for this next upcoming season for reasons I'm still not entirely sure.
Something behind the scenes must have been going on there, man, because that was real fishy. And Flores is pretty good at getting along with all the players. There had to have been something, man. He was injured a lot last year, so I don't know. Maybe his attitude soured with the injury, or they didn't feel like he could come back and be valuable. But yeah, there was a lot of drama there for sure.
And I mean,
and that too. You're in a division that's not getting any easier. Like it used to be, like, hey, you got the Patriots, and it's always the Patriots, and you kind of resigned yourself to, like, well, at least
now
we're
the
not going to
Bills
know.
are good, and now the Jets made some nice moves.
Yeah, the Jets made good moves, right? Like that's when you start getting worried, when the Jets start being
apocalypse is upon us.
Yeah, it stops being such a dumpster fire. But I think you guys are going to be one, if not the most competitive divisions. Last year, I kept saying the most competitive division, hands down, no question, was the NFC East. Everybody was a garbage, but it was most competitive, right? Everybody had a chance.
When Zach Wilson was getting drafted, he had a chick with him, and I couldn't tell if it was either an older looking girlfriend or a young looking mom.
Did you see the video? He was taking pictures all of the players, and then they started. One of them threw up like this sign, and the other one, he just like freaked out. He thought they were gang signs. Like he just freaked out.
He was like, "What do I do with my hands?"
Do you trust Tua? Is what my question. Like, do you trust him at this point? I know you guys lost your starting quarterback with Fitzpatrick. Like, there wasn't a really.
Look, Tua was going to start more this year than he did last year. They were going to lean on him more. I think last year they were just being cautious because they had the luxury to, and look, the guy came off of a serious injury in college and not playing for a long time, so I can appreciate the cautious approach. I think that this year, though, there's no more excuses. It's like, see what you got in them. And that way we do have a ton of draft assets the next couple of years. So it's a luxury to be like, all right, man, we got you the weapons. So there's no there's no excuses. And you've got enough time to rehab and be who you're going to be. So he's even got a year of experience, more or less, where he wasn't really put into too tough a situation. So we'll see what he's got. And if we see enough to know that he's not going to be the answer, dude, we could flip into a better QB situation next year easily because we have that many draft picks.
No, yeah, that's for sure. And I mean, you guys got Waddle. He already knows Tua. They know each other. So, like I said, your offense should be decent. I'm surprised you guys didn't go for Smith because I mean he was a Heisman winner. But I mean, we'll see.
Just
Right?
think I think it's his size, man. I think that like if you get him where the Eagles got him, you go, man, what great value where we got him. But with like the top like 7 or 8 picks, you're like, do I want to take a gamble on a guy whose skill set might not transfer? I mean, I think that guy's going to be a good pro, but I can understand why teams were tentative, especially when there were so many great receivers at the top of this class. I don't know. I personally like when there's a dude like Tua and he's got the pedigree and he's proven it at certain levels and he's a nice dude who like says the right things and is humble and works hard. I always say, man, that guy's going to find a way to make it happen. Right.
Yeah.
But I do have one friend who is like she's a very well-known sports broadcaster. So she has a lot more access than I do, and she's really down on Tua.
Oh, so man. Oh,
that
boy.
scares me a little bit, but I hope she's just being overreacting.
So, I mean, with your division, are you more worried about the Bills, maybe the Pats? They've been making moves, and then they got Mac Jones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, dude, I think I'm more worried about the Bills, man. They got so much talent, and I mean, the Pats are always the Pats, but even when the Pats were great, the Dolphins kind of had their number, We were always good at stealing at least a upset win against them, at least one a year, I mean, the Bills like are someone who scares me come playoff time.
What are we talking about over here, though? We all know it's going to be back to back. Tampa Bay is going to go back to back.
Really?
22 starters coming back. Like it's pretty hard to argue against, right? And they just got better. They got Giovanni Bernard as like the third running back option, who's not bad at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you expect them to win the Super Bowl, or were you kind of hoping Kansas City wins it?
I don't know. I mean, Kansas City kind of low key struggled through the playoffs. Like people didn't realize it. I think they were just kind of like, oh, it's Kansas City. They're just turning on. But I'm like, I don't know, man. Like Mahomes is back there running for his life. And that's definitely what happened in the Super Bowl, man. He had no time. So I kind of felt good about Tampa going in. They just definitely had that swag. It seemed like they were peaking at the right time,
And Tampa Bay was always telling everybody, well, we're not as good as we're going to be. Just wait. Then the bye week
Smart
came.
Thing to do, man.
Right? And then Tom Brady just turned it on like he always does. And there's just no question at this point. Like, of course, the greatest football player of all time and greatest quarterback. Wait, you don't think so?
No. We get to see him play. That's the thing. Like, how lucky are we?
I think I've had enough.
You've had enough?
I think I've had enough. Like, is his legacy really going to change if he wins one more? Right? Is it going to be like that?
That guy's gonna play until he absolutely cannot play. He ain't leaving until they drag him out of there.
Man, and it's crazy. Like, had he had this type of support in New England, where they got whoever they wanted, they went out and actually spent money and got him some help and some weapons, he could have had more. He could have had more titles. Maybe again, the Patriots were always going to lose against the Giants. Like that's just their kryptonite for some reason. And fluky Eagles win, I'll give you that. Nick Foles was not supposed to win a Super Bowl, but we'll take it. It's fine.
Dude, there's definitely one or two of those Super Bowls that the Pats should have pulled off. I don't know, man. It's just the NFL, dude. Like it's so hard to win. Any team could turn around any year, like they do a good job of creating parity. But the thing with the Patriots is if you're in a shitty division and you have a good system and enough talent and enough consistency to have the same quarterback and coach for that long, that you just give yourself opportunities. And if you give yourself opportunities, you're going to catch it right, at least 50% of the time and win Super Bowls. you know, and then a couple other years you're going to catch Eli Manning on a good day, and you lose one maybe you should have won, you know. But it's just the numbers game. It's just giving yourself an opportunity to succeed more times than other teams do, year in, year out.
And I think the big story in the NFL right now is Aaron Rodgers, right? Like,
yeah,
is he coming
crazy,
back?
Dude.
Like,
Insane.
what's gonna happen? Like,
I've never been as disgruntled with any employer as Aaron Rodgers is with the Green Bay Packers. And that's the thing. Everybody's on his side. Everybody is. There's even the Packer fans and who are the owners in a sense are on his side. And you're like, yeah, well, he's kind of right. Like, you guys are kind of treating him like shit and have been.
oh yeah.
I mean, it's like history repeating itself, though. They did the same shit with Aaron Rodgers too far.
Yeah.
You think they would have learned and been like, you know, like if they want to draft Love last year, just go, hey, Aaron, man, just a heads up. This is what we're thinking, okay? Like, sugarcoat it at least fake having some respect for the guy.
And not, like, trade up to get him, too. Like,
And then you still don't get weapons for the guy. Like, what else is he supposed to do?
but that's the crazy thing. He still gets it done. That's how much of a professional he is. Again, I've never been treated that way. I've never been treated that way, but I know for a fact, like, I would go in a blaze of glory if I was ever treated that way. No, fuck that. I broke my finger. I would break my own finger at that point. Like, just fuck it. Fuck these guys. Jordan Love, go for it. Like, enjoy your time out there.
So if he does go somewhere, what's the feeling? It's going to be Denver? Is that what everyone's thinking?
But Denver just got Teddy Bridgewater, and I like Teddy Bridgewater only because
but if they get Aaron Rodgers, I mean, Teddy Bridgewater is a nice little pickup. Yeah, but it'd be like, sorry, Teddy, again.
Exactly. Like poor Drew Lock, right? Like, what bench is he going to be dancing on?
He had his chance.
He did.
Yeah, Drew Lock, you can't. I mean, exactly. Can't feel too sorry for him.
Yeah,
exactly. Injured,
but I think Teddy Bridgewater was one of my favorite players last year. Like, he just played balls out. No McCaffrey, fine. I'll put the team on my back. I'll have the best performances day in, day out, every Sunday. Any given Sunday, that guy was just playing balls out. He would lose, but just balls out. Just, I don't know, man.
Bridgewater was supposed to be a generational talent, like, straight up.
Dude, I remember. So he's a South Florida kid. So everyone really wanted him to go to the University of Miami, and he would have, except for I think Randy Shannon was the coach back then. Whoever the coach was, just they didn't mesh. So he ended up going up to Louisville, right? Yeah. Yeah. And you know, he balled out up there. And it's just like, man, I just always feel like, man, he should have been a Miami Hurricane, dude.
And I mean, again, that guy was just, even with that season with Minnesota, he was so promising. Like, the words, the adjectives used was everything that Lamar Jackson has been called and some. Like, it was one of those careers where you were just ready. Like, Minnesota wouldn't have to have gone for Kirk Cousins in those years. Teddy Bridgewater would have stayed there, been a hometown hero. But I mean, that's how it goes. And even like, I always get sad when players get injured during practice. Like, not that I want people to see that, but like, yeah, at least Dak Prescott was on the field and, you know, his bone was sticking out and, you know, everybody was horrified and everything. We're like, you know, he gave it his all, but behind closed doors, you know, you just never, we never know what's going to happen. It just sucks.
Do you guys think Prescott's going to come back balling out, or what do you guys think of him?
I mean,
yeah. I mean, look, if Alex Smith can come back and be productive, anybody can.
Yeah. Yes, that's. I mean, the comeback player of the year should be renamed the Alex Smith Comeback Player of the Year award. There's 100%. No better story. Unless Ryan Leaf magically comes back 40 fucking years from now and just
Ryan Leaf. You guys are a San Diego podcast.
But he was hosting the Rich Eisen show during draft night, and he had to tap out just because it was so long, and he just, you know, I think they like switched between different hosts. I don't know, but you know what? Our boy Roger Goodell, not our boy, but you know, Roger Goodell, got to give him props for that. He has the stamina at least for that one day to get through it.
I like that Goodell leans into the hate. You know, he every year now he does. It was like, come on, let me hear it. No. It's like, the only way you could deal with that, and it's not like he's gonna quit because he's so much money and seems to have pretty good job security with the owners. So he's just like, well, I might as well be self-deprecating.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you have to be. And I mean, he's the biggest heel of the NFL, and you know, he loves it at some point. Like, you just gotta just just become what what you're being told you are. And who knows, like Rodgers seems like a good guy, right? He was eating, just popping peanut M&Ms, just having a great old time. Even last year in his basement, like that was a pretty good production, not gonna lie.
Did you see that the Rams?
Speaking, you guys are soccer fans, and since we're talking about the Bucks too, explain to me what's happening with this.
I got you.
With soccer, with the Glazer family and the Man United and the protests and everything.
I got you, man. That's my favorite team, Manchester United. I woke up at 7:30 in the morning because that's the time the game was gonna start. I'm like, what the fuck? What's going on? So, Glazer family, the owners of of Manchester United, part owners of the Buccaneers as well. The whole thing happened in soccer where the top 12 teams in the world were gonna make like a super league. And everybody hated it. Teams started pulling out, but fans got really, really upset about it, especially in Manchester United. For some reasons, fans decided to protest in this game, and they decided to storm into the field right before the game to protest that the team is all about the money instead of the fans. And that's been the problem with this team. We haven't really rebuilt the way we're supposed to, and we're not at the level that we were supposed to be at as a team. So
it would be like if the SEC was just like, we're just gonna play on our own league and just
essentially
NCAA.
Yeah, exactly. Or I mean, if you want to go into like NFL terms, like, all right, let's say the Cowboys, what are the big markets, Pittsburgh, and then they decided, hey, we're still going to play in the NFL, but on Wednesdays we're going to have this other separate league just with the top six teams that make the most money, not necessarily the best, but we're going to go ahead and have our little side hustle over here, but double dip over there. And so it was like the NFL was like, all right, go for it. You can do that, but every single one of your players cannot step foot in the NFL ever again, and they can also never play in the World Cup, I guess, in soccer terms. Yeah. And so that was the big.
Sounds like a big deal.
Yeah, exactly. And
so the fans decided to protest. They stormed the field. Big disaster. I mean, the game got postponed, but that's the whole reason behind that whole about the whole Glazer family.
Yeah. So
did anybody wear Viking horns and steal a podium?
No, not in Manchester.
They're a little bit more polite over there, and that's the thing. Like that's
and they're called the hooligans.
Yeah, now they're.
It would make more sense if they were wearing Viking horns and stealing podiums in that setting versus our national politics.
They did steal the corner flags. So.
Oh shit! Watch out. What are we gonna do with those? Speaking of flags and corner flags, I've been following your stories throughout this pandemic. I did see that you had a gig. If ever you see Dave's Instagram, #1 dad more than anything, man, straight up. Yeah. But yeah, you were on the sidelines with a referee flag. First of all, you were Instagramming it.
I was wondering where you were going with that.
So you were putting on your story. So I'm pretty sure. You were asking for help. So, how did that end up happening? Like, what were you doing? Like, how were you chosen, and how did you just decide? All right, fuck it,
man. All right. First of all, like I understand sports, right? Like I haven't played or watched a bunch of soccer in my life, but like most sports you can understand the gist or the nuances of certain rules, But offsides has been such a mystery because it seems like when someone explains it, it seems easy enough, But then all throughout every game, no one can ever agree with what offsides is. It's every parent is just yelling offsides, or you think it's a goal and the referee calls offsides, and I'm like, dude, that was like not even close to being offsides if I'm understanding the rule correctly, So it seems like even people who really understand soccer don't always get offsides right. So that's first of all. Second of all, so now that we're playing games again, my kid had a scrimmage, and there was only one ref because it wasn't like a full league game or anything where they bring lines judgments and everything. So the ref just comes over and hands the flag to a dad on the other team and goes, "I need your help." And the dad was like, "Oh, you didn't want to do it." I was pretty hungover that day. I was like, I do not want to do it by any stretch. I'm usually all right to chip in with all kinds of stuff, but I'm like, I'm just excited to sit in my lawn chair and watch my kid play again after a long time. So at halftime, he comes over and goes, all right, someone on your team has to do it. And he just like put it in my lap. And I'm like, what is this guy coming over to me for? You know? So I was like, I guess I'm doing it. And so I put on my Instagram stories, like, someone explain offsides to me real quick. and I was just over there just like, and then luckily one of the other dads came over and was like, hey, dude, I'll do it. I'm like, because some of those dads love that stuff. They thrive on it, you know? So I go, yeah, man, please, it's all yours. And so I got really, and then when I got over there, I started thinking, I go, wait, why didn't I just hand it to my wife and make her come do it? She like played soccer her whole life. She won state titles in like Indiana, like played at real elite levels. I mean, my wife's like smarter than most of the coaches and refs out there. I'm like, why did I just walk over with it? like if it was water polo, I jump in and I ref the, you know, I understand water polo. I ref the scrimmages, and if the coaches are out, I sub in, you know, and I bring my kids to camps. You guys are like this. I'll shift to water polo here. So the podcast I do, the Tony Azevedo podcast, Tony, for people that don't know, he's like the Michael Jordan of USA water polo. It's super exciting also because he's going to be the NBC announcer, the color analyst for NBC this year for the Olympics.
Wow.
In July. So you know, Tony and I have a podcast together, and Tony's doing all these awesome clinics around the country where he you know, brings kids in and they play like tournaments, and he's got live streaming that's super professional, and he's got tracking. He's doing like combine stuff. So he tracks how far they can kick out of the water. You know, like how they do the vert test where the athletes jump up and they hit that thing. So they have that, but by the pool. So it's how far you could tread up and hit the vert thing.
Okay.
And there's like a radar gun to how hard you could shoot and things like that.
Oh, wow.
So I took my son to Arizona to participate in one of these weekends. And so the guy who was doing the live streaming knew me from the podcast and said, Dave, do you want to sit in and do color commentary? And I was like, yes, I do.
Hell yeah.
So it was so fun watching my kid play a game, and the guy was doing play-by-play, and I got to do color commentary. And I mean, it was cool as a dad, but it was just cool also as a comedian and as a podcaster and as a, you know, a water polo enthusiast. It was just like, you know, I just do, anyone who knows me saw that online and was like, oh, this is like Dave's best day ever. Like, you know.
And yeah, I mean, that's something that, you know, we've all dream of, to like have the World Cup commentating and everything. But I mean, to have it and be your son and, you know, just be as comfortable as you can, right? You know everything that's going on. Again, I can't imagine one of us being put in there like, hey, we need one of the other parents, or we need somebody to go, Chiva, go commentate some water polo.
Oh man.
The commentating is easier than doing like the line judging and stuff, because the line judging, you don't want to like screw the game up, you know. The commentary, I'm sure you guys, I could put you in front of any sport, and you've seen enough sports to where you can talk intelligently about sports, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's always those dudes at the sports bar that you could tell don't know shit about sports, because they're like, man, no, but I heard he's one of the best throwers in the league. And you're like, thrower is not a term we use for quarterbacks, bro, you know? Like they just don't understand the verbiage, you know? Or the things they say make no sense whatsoever, you know? They're like, nah, man, I think they got to pound the rock with the running back, you know? It's how you win games. And it's like, no, man, the Chiefs have a really good aerial attack. I don't think you know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? Like,
no, but it's a good ground and pound. That's what Colin said. Colin Cowherd told me.
Yeah. No, but you guys and me, like, you could put us in front of every sport, and we're going to be self-aware that we don't know a lot about that sport. So we're not going to use terms we don't know. We're just going to be like, oh, he looks fatigued, and I got to think that this is where, you know, they have to come up with some strategy for that. You know, like, you could just look at it from a layman and probably talk intelligently about a sport.
Can you do that for golf?
For golf?
Yeah.
Like, how would I even, like, Dave, how would you even, like, and
because I know the golf is the sport you least know of.
Here's a birdie attempt. No, no, that's the first hole. Like, oh, okay. We're here on a green day.
So here's what I've learned about golf is when I go and play, and people, when you take videos of like your swing and stuff, you know, because always once when you're playing, you want to like, you know, video a drive so you can see what your swing looks like that day, and then you usually end up like uploading it to Instagram. You can't see the ball on Instagram, so no matter what, when I hit the shot, if I know he's filming, I go yes, like that, like I pretend like it was a really good shot.
Let me tell you.
Normally the one you're filming is like the prettiest hole on the whole course.
Yeah.
So you just want to have like the lake with the mountain in the background and you lined up and you take your swing. And then even if it duffs off to the right, just keep looking straight and just be like, nice shot. And then
nice
turn around
shot.
and be like, oh, you were filming? You know, like.
So you're telling me that went in the water?
Yeah, that one right there. That's a great example. That ball went way left.
It went over the mountains. Is what I see. I don't know about you.
I was in Palm Springs, dude. That was a beautiful course. Shout out to my buddy Colin there, who hooked me up to play that course, man. Just a beautiful day out there.
See, hitting a golf ball is probably one of the hardest things I've ever tried attempting. You see, we don't play golf, man. We play foot golf.
Foot golf. Was that like the soccer golf?
Yeah,
exactly that, man.
So I did that with my kid one time for a birthday party. It was really fun. You know what else I did last week? My buddy McGregor Burns, he's a water polo referee out here in LA, and he's got a prototype for a game he made called Chippy Wand, and it's a big oversized golf club, and then it like a wiffle ball, and then you have this thing called a biscuit, and you throw it out, and it rolls and then lands, and it's like a circle, and so you got to try to chip into the biscuit. So it's kind of like Can Jam or Bocce Ball or any of those games like that, but it's with golf. And it was a blast, man. We had a fun plan. Dude, I'm like, whenever you get this to market, I'm definitely a customer. So if there's any investors out there that want to invest in a really fun new golf backyard game, hit me up. I'll put you in touch with my buddy McGregor, because me and a couple other comics, we had a blast demoing it the other day.
Hell yeah. That's always fun. Like I was very unaware of disc golf and how big that was. Like it's just a whole like subculture of it. It's crazy. Like you know, not that I frequent golf courses, but I'll pass by golf courses and I'll see, like, again, when I started seeing soccer balls at golf courses, I was a little concerned, like, what's going on here, right? But no, like it's a good fun game. Always gonna get people's attention. So that does sound like a lot of fun, though.
I gotta tell you, man. So the cool thing about golf is, like, you can really get stressed out playing golf because you got to play a lot to get good. It's a very frustrating game, you know. And so I got new clubs for Christmas this year because I started playing a ton during the pandemic, and my son started liking it, so it was a good excuse for me to go out and play with him. And I got new clubs for Christmas, and I didn't realize how much my old clubs were holding me back. So I got so, like, re-addicted to golf. I went out and played, like, every day for 3 weeks, and my elbow got jacked up. I got golfer's elbow. Oh, that was in December. I'm still dealing with it, dude. It's crazy. It, like, won't go away. I mean, granted, I haven't done much to help myself. I should be stretching and icing and all that stuff. Instead, I'm just like, I'll only play 9 holes tomorrow, you know?
Yeah, but the 9th hole you're already wasted, so you don't feel it anymore. So you just might as well finish everything.
I like that.
But it's true. It's given me a little bit of an attitude adjustment because, you know, I when I was playing every day back then, I was like, gotta get my score down. Now I have a built-in excuse of my elbow, and I'm like, well, I'd rather go out and play poorly, but just enjoy being out on the course and smoke a cigar and have a beer and maybe hit a nice shot here and there and be proud of that one shot instead of really worrying about the whole game. And it's allowed me to slow down and just enjoy the game. But once I get healed, then I could start, like, maybe ramping up the competitiveness again.
But for right now, you have a literal handicap that you can point to. So there you go.
Exactly. Yeah. Whoever I'm going to play with, I just tell them, like, hey, man, I shouldn't play, but I'm going to play poorly, but just be cool with that. And they're like, all right.
That's great. But I mean, you got new golf clubs. I also know that you got a new TV recently. And that TV was, you know, I mean, you were kind of hush hush about it, but I think, like, the episode air of Let's Make a Deal before you thought. So for those that don't know, Let's Make a Deal. Do you know what Let's Make a Deal is?
Sounds like a game show.
It is a game show, and hosted by the great Wayne Brady. Fantastic show. Fantastic show. It gives me hope for the future of children. Like
Deal or No Deal?
Yeah, well, kind of. I mean, it gives me hope for the future of children generations that are going to stay home, that are going to watch For Price is Right, Jerry Springer, and Let's Make a Deal. It's a great show. But you made an appearance on there, and I mean, tell us about it, because you came out winning from there.
I did, man. It was a great day. I at the very beginning of the pandemic, a buddy of mine hit me up and goes, "Hey man, I'm helping cast Let's Make a Deal. Do you want me to like submit your name for it?" And I go, "Sure, man. I mean, all my shows just got canceled for the next like 5 months. So yeah, please. I'm not doing anything." So that was that. Just sitting around. Ended up going on that tour with Bert and booking a commercial and things. I'm leaning into podcasting, so things picked up. And like 6 months later, I'd forgotten all about it, and they hit me up and go, "Hey man, do you want to be on Let's Make a Deal?" And I go, "Oh, yeah, I forgot about that." So I go and I did it. It was right after I saw you guys. It was right after we finished the last tour date down there. They hit me up and they're like, "Yeah, come be on it." So I went, and my whole goal was, all I wanted to do was, I dressed up like a barbecue grill. And I go, "I don't care if I win anything or don't win anything." I go, "I just want to get a good clip to plug my podcast." So I'm dressed like a barbecue grill, and Wayne Brady goes, "Dave, the costume. Wow." And I go, "Yep." I go, Wayne, barbecue is more than a more than a hobby. It's a lifestyle." He goes, "Yeah, you have a podcast, Meet Dave podcast."
Hell yeah.
And then Wayne Brady, he is my man now, because the whole episode he kept plugging my podcast, and he even he goes, "Dave, you coach water polo and host a barbecue podcast?" He goes, "Some sitcom writer is really glad he watched today's episode and met you." And I was like, "God bless you, Wayne Brady. I hope you're right, buddy." So then, I won. I won a whole suite, which I got a brand new big screen TV and a desk and a chair. The TV is the only thing that showed up so far, though. This was months ago. Okay. And my TV showed up the Friday before Super Bowl. So I kind of think what happened was the prize department wanted to make people happy for COVID. And they were like, "Let's make sure we push all the TVs out before the Super Bowl." So I got that on Friday before the Super Bowl. And the same day Warren Sapp was at my house, my 65-inch Sony showed up. I'm like, "Today is a great day."
Oh man, that's fantastic.
So then, the big winner gets to go to the final round, and I was the big winner up until the last guy. And my wife told me as I was walking out the house, she goes, "Hey, win a washer and dryer. We need one." And I go, "Nah, I'm gonna win a car. We'll sell it and buy a washer and dryer and then pocket the rest," right? So I would have picked curtain number 2 if I made it to that final round, and I was in the lead to get to that final round until the last dude, and then he kind of I thought I was still gonna edge him out, and like something happened last minute, and he just barely edged me out, right? So he goes to the big thing. Well, the 3 curtains on the big deal, right? And you could win. You're gonna guarantee win one of the curtains, but you might win all of them, right? One of them was a $5,000 podcast studio.
Oh man.
One of them was a washer and dryer. And the middle one, which is the one I would have picked because number 2 is my wife's lucky number, it was a new car.
Fuck. Like, I mean, and that's the thing. Here's the thing too. Like, it's a lucky number and everything, but man, you would have been a little disappointed about that $5,000 podcast setup, right? Like, geez.
I would have sold the car and bought a podcast equipment.
And a washer and dryer.
But if you pick one of them, I think is random, where if you pick it, you get all 3 showcases. So imagine if I had picked it and got all 3 showcases, I would have cleaned up. That would have been like that whole showcase was made for me, man.
Wow.
Damn. Warren Sapp would have been impressed had a car showed up that day too. Like, "Hey, here you go, Dave."
Whole pandemic would have been worth it.
Oh man.
But I'm not complaining, man. I got my plug-in. It was a great little video clip, and I also got a new TV and a whole. I want to buy some new headphones. You see these headphones I'm wearing, but I'm getting really nice headphones in that prize pack. So I'm just hoping that these don't die before my new ones show up. I don't want to buy some when I know I got some on the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're still rocking the Amazon ones, so
Amazon ones.
You guys look and sound great.
Fantastic.
I appreciate that.
I mean, did you put that other TV in that new teenage men cave that you built over this last finished over the last weekend? I don't know if you've seen this, Chiva, but
so my kids, I built a barn in the backyard for them years ago, and it was kid stuff for a long time. It was all their toys out there and everything. And they never go out there anymore. I'm like, dude, during the pandemic, I'm like, that's when you guys should be out there. I mean, we're all like on top of each other in this house 24/7. Like, go out to your clubhouse, They never go out there because they're like, oh, it's too hot and the Wi-Fi doesn't work and So yeah, I put the new TV inside. I took the old TV, I put it out there. I got Wi-Fi boosters. I got an little AC unit for them out there. So now the barn's hooked up. I'm like, you guys have no excuses now. You could be on your iPad. You could be on your video game system on the big screen TV. I got a couch out there now. Because before it was like just beanbag chairs. Now I got a couch.
Yeah.
I got an arcade game, a popcorn machine. I go, that's like, you guys have 1 week to fall in love with this man cave. If not, I'm turning it into a mom and dad cave. All right. And mom and dad are going to come out here and hang out. You guys can have the house if that's what you really want. Right?
No, it's a really nice man cave. Like to be completely honest.
Yeah.
Imagine a tough shed type of thing, but just with no door and metal and rusted. That was my room when I used to live in the trailer park. So your barn is a palace compared to what I used to have, man.
So I rent this house. I don't own this house, right? That barn is going to still be there in the year like 2080, dude. It's like solid as a rock. So what happened was there was a little shed back there when we moved in, and the kids were young then, right? So the little shed was like the coolest thing to them. They had all their toys out there, but the whoever built it just didn't do it right. So like the floor like rotted and the whole thing rotted, right? So when it was rotting, they kept asking me to fix it. Daddy, will you fix it? We want to play in the shed. And I'm like, guys, I don't think I could fix this. I go, what if I find a bigger one that we could put here, and then maybe we can get a foosball table?
Oh,
that's all they had to hear. They were so excited.
Yeah.
2 days later, I walked to the backyard. The kids had gotten the tools. They had ripped the shed down.
Oh shit!
Wow.
They're like, yeah, so you can put the new shed in. I go, I was only kind of like half serious about that, guys. I go, but now I guess we got it. So I go on Craigslist and I start looking up sheds, and they're way more expensive than I thought they were. I didn't know sheds were so expensive.
Yep.
Like I said, I rent this place. I don't want to drop a couple $1,000 on something, you know? So there was this one shed, way bigger than I thought we would be getting. It was a 10 by 10 like barn, you know? And this lady at a farm out east here in Los Angeles, she was asking like, I don't know, like $1,000 for it or something. So I was gonna lowball her at 500, right? So I messaged her on Craigslist, and she ended up calling me, which you know is kind of weird on Craigslist.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to this lady, and I told her the whole story about how I want to make a clubhouse for my kids, and she goes, "Well, you know what, sugar?" She goes, "All these people on Craigslist, or just been trying to lowball me," and I was just getting ready to lowball her. Yeah. And she goes, "I'd rather you have it for free and do something nice for your kids than these people think they got one over on me." She goes, "If you could pick it up by tomorrow, you can have it for free." And I was like, "Oh shit!"
Fuck.
So me and my kid, my youngest son, I think he was like 8 at the time. He loves like to use tools and stuff. Me and him drive out there, and I start looking at it, and I go, "Man, I think we could do this. So we could take this apart and get it home, you know?" And so I took one wall off, and it took me like 3 hours. And then after I took the one wall off, I was like, "Man, I don't know if we can do this." And then the whole thing just collapsed.
Oh, jeez.
I'm like holding it up. It was like a movie. I'm holding it up, going like, "Oh, and run." Like, dude, this thing just collapsed. So now I'm like, how do I get all these it was gigantic. So my buddy, who's the mayor here in town, he owns a moving company. I call him. He's at dinner with his wife. I go, "Man, I need you to bail me out." I go, "I got to get this shed from like 2 hours that way to here by tomorrow." So he's like, "All right, I got a couple employees that they're just going to be cleaning the shop tomorrow. I'll send them out there with a moving truck." He's like, "Just tip them." So these guys helped me get that thing over here. I gave them like $200. I hired a handyman to help me build it in my backyard, couple $100 because there's no way I could do it by myself. You know, it's just too big. And for less than $1,000, I built a proper foundation. I got this badass man cave in the backyard now for my kids.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
I just hope that my landlord's not mad whenever I finally, you know, it's been there for like 3 or 4 years now. They never come around. But when I move out of this house in a few years, they're going to be like, "Where the fuck did that come from?"
Well, you don't want it. I guess just take it wherever you go, right?
Anything you added more value.
I'll never move that thing again. They could burn it for all I care.
You added more value
I
to the
almost
property,
died
man.
twice moving that thing here.
So did you decide what gaming system's going to go in there? Did your kids have any say in it? You're just going to give them an old N64, 25 years old? Just here you go.
Well, they have a couple older systems, but I think I need to get them we've made it this far without investing in a brand new system for them, but I think I need to get one of the new Xboxes or PS5s. I don't know a lot about that world, man. I have the classic arcade in there. It's got like the 60 classic games.
Yes.
That's my style, bro. I love that. I like a couple of the like Madden 94 and Tecmo Bowl, like that stuff. But otherwise, I don't care about the gaming systems that much.
No, I mean that I have actually one of those. I don't know if I've told you. I have one of those little Pac-Mans, the same like Galaga, just
really?
1 in a million, like things you just flick the thing to pretend you throw a quarter in there, because that was I came up in Mexico. In Mexico, that like maquinitas, little gaming systems are huge, right? So you would have to put a peso. I would have to steal my mom's peso whenever she'd send me for tortillas. They were 5 pesos. I'd come back and be like, sorry mom, there's 6 pesos today. Like I don't know what happened. I'd just be there for like an hour, just beating every single game.
I lost it again.
Yeah. And the tortillas, oh shit, they're at the gaming system. Gotta go back. But no, that's a good.
I grew up on an Atari.
You grew up on an Atari?
Believe it or not.
This Pac-Man arcade with the speed chip in it, that's my jam, dude. I can play it still to this day. I can play that for hours. It's so fun to me.
Yeah, no, because those were good, challenging-ish games, but you just got lost like for hours, especially if you were good. If you were good, like you won. I don't know. What was the currency here? Quarter, I guess. Yeah, because it was a peso over there. Like one token, whatever. If you were good, you'd be there for a good amount of time. And don't you dare, if I'm doing a fighting game or something, challenge me next to it and fuck up my game, because it's gonna be a fight.
No, for me, the Atari, my dad didn't want to buy us like anything, so he bought the Atari, and it was that one game with like the
Pong?
Yeah, the one where you hit it, and then the other thing
Pong.
You gotta
Yes.
I don't know I don't know the name of it, but yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, you should get your kids Atari. Like, there you go. They have no choice.
They're probably expensive as fuck now, right?
Yeah, that's the problem. Is that old
vintage,
stuff's like more expensive than the new stuff now.
For real.
Yeah, hell yeah. But yeah, I think we're gonna go ahead and just start wrapping it up from there. But I do want to go ahead and have you, Dave, plug once again. You're gonna be here in San Diego with your tour. So
on Thursday.
On Thursday, yes. So let everybody know how.
Here's all the plugs. Ready?
Go.
2 months, guys. I'm going to be on the road performing in barbecue restaurants, trying to get back to normal by doing a tour that is anything but normal. Stand-up comedy, pitmaster Q&As, and just having fun seeing each other, eating good food, comfort food that makes us feel like things are going to be all right. I'm excited. I hope people support this. Even if you don't live in a town where I'm coming, tell someone who does, because I am trying to do this so organically, so correctly, so grassroots. And if you listen to this and think what I'm doing is cool, I appreciate that so much. But what helps more than anything is spreading the word. So tell your friends, hey, I heard this guy on a podcast. He was really interesting, or he was fun, or I appreciate what he's doing. And just tell your friend to go out and see me, okay? You can see the schedule at DaveWilliamsonComedy.com. Lots of cities are already up there. First one is this Thursday in San Diego. I got Phoenix, Grand Junction, Colorado, Denver, Colorado. I've got Boston on there. I'm going to do a set at the Memphis in May Festival, and I've got about 9 or 10 dates that should be added within the next few days. Also, if you can't come out to a show, I also have a GoFundMe launching in the next few days, which is going to be not me asking for charity, but me trying to bring value to you. You could win a smoker from RecTech. You could win a meat pack from Central Barbecue. They'll ship $300 worth of food to your door, and you can have a party with it. Things like online brisket trimming classes, just all kinds of different swag and fun stuff that's going to be prizes. And what I'm hoping to do with that is offset the cost of the tour, and also be able to film the whole thing to put some cool content out. And worst case scenario, if there's nothing else you can do to support, follow me on Instagram at DaveWComedy. I've had a fun time talking to you guys about all the stuff you brought up that you see on my Instagram, and that fuels me. You guys having me on the podcast and bringing up stuff that you thought was cool on my Instagram makes me so happy. You don't understand. Really appreciate it, guys. And last but not least, if you like to cook at all, you can get my Meet Dave all-purpose rub on my website, DaveWilliamsonComedy.com. It's $20, and you can put it on anything from low and slow Texas-style barbecue to make a nice bark. You can put it on your steak that you're going to cook in your cast iron. You can put it on a salad, anything you would put salt and pepper on. This is your salt and pepper substitute. So thanks for listening, and I appreciate you guys. I'm honored to be the first two-time guest on the Two Balls and a Mic as a comic guest.
That's an absolute professional right there, guys.
Oh yeah,
that's an absolute professional. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate
Dave.
You coming back, man.
We will check you out on Thursday, Cali Comfort BBQ. It's gonna be a fantastic time. Thank you, Dave.
Can't wait, guys.